Hi again, everyone. I'm Scott Douglas, welcoming you to another action-packed hour of motorsports excitement with the United States Hot Rod Association right here on Super Trax. We get things going today from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Monster trucks, and we have the best in the world ready to go side by side. But before we get to that point, we have got to set the field, and we'll do that in our round of qualification. The two trucks you're looking at, both out of the Green Boys Racing Stable from Jefferson City, Missouri. They'll be our first two qualifiers. We'll see Whiskey Business in a moment, but up first, it's the brand new Micro Machines and Kurt Fisher. Here at the Astrodome, it's a tight turning course. At the end, they have to whip around the pole. Using that rear steer effectively, Fisher is in pretty good shape. He has to roll a hill, up over the cars, and it's a good run for Kurt Fisher and the Micro Machines Chevrolet. There you see him off the turn. This is a very tricky course because after you make that pinpoint turn, you have to then roll the truck over the hill and then come off of it with enough speed to launch yourself over the cars. It is a tough course, and that was a good run for Micro Machines at 13.11. Our second qualifier will be Ken Deppy's Whiskey Business Chevrolet. He'll have to beat that 13.11 to try and earn the fast time. Fast time not only is the prestige and the extra money and points of being number one, it also gives you lane choice throughout the night, and we'll find out as things go on if there is a better lane amongst the two. Smooth turn for Ken Deppy. Boy, that was a real rough shot when he came off the hill and hit the cars. That may cost him some time. We'll watch it on the replay. As Whiskey Business was in good shape here, but he went over the hill too hard. And if you don't roll the hill right, you do just what Ken Deppy's doing. You bounce back and forth like a bucking bronco. However, it didn't cost him much time. He has the fast time now at 13.02. Still, several top competitors will come after him, and we'll see if Whiskey Business's time of 13.02 will hold up. Next, we go to the big Ford machine out of Burleson, Texas. This is Rob Morris and the four-wheel Crazy Ford. 1989 U.S. Hot Rod Association Rookie of the Year, ready to do battle. Nice turn by Morris. Good shape over the hill. This is an outstanding run for Rob Morris and four-wheel Crazy. Once again on the replay, look at how smooth he came over the hill. And that is going to allow him to build up momentum over the cars. And Rob Morris and four-wheel Crazy has laid down the fast time so far in competition, 12.15 seconds. That's the time to beat. Certainly one of the trucks who you would figure has a great chance to beat that time is this one. The reigning United States Hot Rod Association champion of the world, the Barefoot Chevrolet, and Fred Schaefer out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Again, the time to beat is 12.15. Real slow on the turn. This is going to cost him. Outstanding finish as he leaps the entire stack of cars, but it was a slow turn that cost him time. At this point, Schaefer did make up some ground, and you'll see him really put the Barefoot Chevrolet into the air. A good qualifying run, but not a great qualifying run. The time of 13.18 is the fourth fastest in the competition today. Scott Stevens, out of the Houston, Texas area, is next up. This is the Auto Value King Crunch. Again, the time to beat, to sit at the top of the heap, is 12.15. That's the time that belongs to the four-wheel Crazy Ford of Rob Morris. Here's Scott Stevens. Let's watch him on the turn. Little bit slow. We'll see if he can make up any ground on the back end. Nice launch off the ramp. A good finish for Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch, but much like the run of Barefoot earlier, it was a very slow turn that cost him some time. At this point, he's in good shape, and he makes a nice leap. The time for the Auto Value King Crunch will come in at 14.17 seconds, about 2 seconds slower than the run of Rob Morris and four-wheel Crazy. Well, here he is, Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. and the Houston fans roaring their approval as Anderson pulls to the line. He knows the time to beat is 12.15, set down by Rob Morris in four-wheel crazy. Watch the turn. Sliding that back end out, keeping the RPMs up. It's a good turn and a good-looking run for Dennis Anderson. Outstanding qualifying shot for the Gravedigger. Again, Anderson took the turn and was able to keep up a lot of momentum, but he didn't blow it by hitting the hill too hard. He comes off with plenty of momentum, makes a nice leap over the cars, and an outstanding run, the second best so far at 12.28 seconds. Gravedigger is second fastest. Well, here is a truck that is really the Jekyll and Hyde of turning courses, the Bigfoot number 8 truck out of St. Louis, Missouri. This big blue Ford can be awesome on this type of course. However, because of all the state-of-the-art equipment in the Bigfoot Ford, it is also very easy to make a mistake in terms of oversteering, going too fast, braking too hard. But Andy Brass looks like he is handling this run beautifully. Oh my, what a run for Andy Brass and the Bigfoot Ford. That was picture perfect from Andy Brass and Bigfoot. Great shape over the hill after a beautiful turn. He had a lot of speed on the first half, and he launches it out the back door on the back half. And look at the time, 10.24 seconds. 2 seconds faster than the field is Andy Brass and the Bigfoot Ford. One more qualifier, and he'll be hard-pressed to beat Andy Brass's time. It's Lupe Sosa and the Warrior out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Thumbs up from Sosa. That means he's ready to see a green light. And here goes the Warrior. Not a whole lot of speed. Lifted the front wheel off, but the turn was pretty nice. Let's see how Warrior does on the back end. Lots of problems on the back end, and he actually runs over the finish line pole. We'll get a good look at it right here. He did not handle the hill well. Look at the bouncing action. Front wheels to back wheels. That cost him. Then the wheels actually spun as he tried to get up the hill. He makes a legal run, but barely legal, and Lupe Sosa's in with a time of 15.08. So the qualifying is complete, and Bigfoot has the field covered by 2 seconds. Another Ford was second fastest, then the Gravedigger Chevrolet, Whiskey Business fourth, followed by Micro Machine, Barefoot, King Crunch, and Warrior, all heading to the first round of side-by-side. The time trials are complete. The brackets are now set as we go in to side-by-side elimination monster truck racing with the best of the U.S. Hot Rod Association here in Houston's Astrodome. Here's the way we'll match them up. Bigfoot, the fast qualifier, takes on Micro Machine. Then Gravedigger against the Auto Value King Crunch. Whiskey Business out to go up against the Warrior. And Four-Wheel Crazy will go head-to-head, side-by-side with the Barefoot Chevrolet. First matchup, the Bigfoot Ford, the Micro Machine Chevrolet. Again, Andy Brass and Bigfoot seems to have all the cards at his disposal. That big blue Ford is handling this course superbly. And Andy Brass records a relatively easy victory with Micro Machine being beaten at the turn anyway and then having problems, something mechanical going wrong on the Micro Machines on the last half. But look at that Bigfoot Ford. Andy Brass, a beautiful leap. And Bigfoot has advanced into the semifinal round of this competition. Now it's Scott Stevens out of Houston, Texas in the Auto Value King Crunch to take on Dennis Anderson from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, and the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Thumbs up from both drivers, ready to go. And Gravedigger apparently jumped the start. Wait a minute. Scott Stevens, look at in the truck, the Auto Value King Crunch truck, Scott Stevens is throwing his arms, just flailing his arms in the air. And I think what he's saying is, hey, Gravedigger jumped the start, and indeed he did. The digger is done. He's disqualified for redlining, and Scott Stevens is saying, yep, I'm going to win this baby. What a terrible break for the Gravedigger and a great break for the Auto Value King Crunch. He gets a free shot now. It's a bye run for Scott Stevens and the Auto Value King Crunch as the Gravedigger red light and is disqualified. Scott Stevens can afford to take it easy right here, rolling the hill. And heading for the cars, it'll be a victory for Scott Stevens and the Auto Value King Crunch after the mistake by the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Coming for home, Scott Stevens could have just rolled over the cars, but with a lot of friends and fans and his sponsors here at Houston, he likes to give them a show and really airs it out on the cars. The Auto Value King Crunch will move into the semifinals. We now move to the bottom half of the first round bracket. The Warrior, Lupe Sosa, out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Whiskey Business, Ken Deppy from Jefferson City, Missouri. The winner goes on. The loser puts it on the trailer. Early lead to Whiskey Business. Warrior, though, closes, headed for the turn. They're even. And the Warrior's in trouble. Up on two wheels. Oh, Lupe Sosa saves it, but he'll have nothing to show for it. Ken Deppy and Whiskey Business records a relatively easy victory. Let me correct my last statement. He still has a truck to show for this stage. I do not see how Lupe Sosa did not roll over on his roof. Just an incredible piece of driving and maybe a little bit of luck. He gets it back down on all four wheels, but by then it's too late. And Ken Deppy's Whiskey Business Chevrolet is able to roll to a relatively easy victory as he hits the cars and moves into the semifinal round. Your winner, Ken Deppy and Whiskey Business from Jefferson City, Missouri. Here's our final matchup of the first round, and you talk about two big-time players right here. Rob Morris, the four-wheel crazy Ford, going up against the defending world champion, Fred Schaefer, and the Barefoot Chevrolet from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Schaefer with the early lead. They're even in the turn. It'll be decided. Oh, a problem for Rob Morris. He's in big trouble now. He's trailing by a couple of car lengths. But look at the back end. Fred Schaefer missed the cars. Barefoot made no contact with the cars on his leap. And the U.S. Hot Rod Association officials are disqualifying the Barefoot Chevrolet. Man, oh man, what a bad break for Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. And Rob Morris and Four-Wheel Crazy gets the win because of the disqualification. So here's how the first round went. Bigfoot over Micro Machine. King Crunch. The power of Super Trax taking you back to the Houston Astrodome. We've reached the semifinals of side-by-side monster truck racing. It'll be Bigfoot against the Auto Value King Crunch and Whiskey Business taking on Four-Wheel Crazy. Ford and GM will go side-by-side twice to determine our finalists. It's Bigfoot for the Ford camp. Auto Value King Crunch for the GM. Even to the turn. Bigfoot looking good. King Crunch is in trouble. Scott Stevens is just going to pull it over, and Bigfoot records the victory. Andy Brass and the Big Blue Ford getting it done in Houston. Beautifully over the hill on this very tricky course, and then launching it out the back end. Andy Brass and Bigfoot will advance to the championship matchup here in the Dome. His opponent will be either Rob Morris and the Four-Wheel Crazy Ford, or in the far lane, Ken Deppy and the Whiskey Business Chevrolet. Deppy out of Jefferson City, Missouri. Morris out of Burleson, Texas. Thumbs up from both drivers, and we're ready to go. The winner meets Bigfoot in the final. The early lead to Four-Wheel Crazy. Very nice turn by Rob Morris. Good shape over the hill, and a very, very impressive run for Rob Morris and the Four-Wheel Crazy Ford. Turned beautifully, rolled the hill nicely with good momentum and very little bounce, and then launched it out the back end. Nice run, and I'll tell you, Bigfoot has been awesome, but Four-Wheel Crazy may have just served notice that he can run with the Big Blue Ford when the finals come up in just a little bit. Once again, they were fairly even to the turn, but Morris had control. However, if he did not make a good turn, Deppy would have made up ground. It didn't happen because Four-Wheel Crazy and the former Rookie of the Year out of Burleson, Texas, had enough to get it done. So Bigfoot defeats the Auto Value King Crunch. Four-Wheel Crazy wins over Whiskey Business. It's an all-Ford final coming up from the Astrodome. They've dispatched all the GM products that came to town. Now it's a battle for Ford's pride. Bigfoot and Four-Wheel Crazy will settle things here at the Houston Astrodome. You get a good look at Andy Brass with the full face mask and the fire mask on as well. Andy Brass will pull the original monster truck to the line. Bigfoot out of Bob and Marilyn Chandler's stable in St. Louis, Missouri. Long considered the supreme Ford, Andy Brass knows one of the biggest challenges every week in terms of Ford superiority comes from Rob Morris, the former Rookie of the Year in Four-Wheel Crazy out of Burleson, Texas. This should be a dandy, and it's for all the marbles in Houston. Showtime! To the turn, Bigfoot with a slight lead. A good turn by both. Morris now has the lead. Four-Wheel Crazy's got the lead. To the back end, and Andy Brass and Bigfoot has won it. Andy Brass has done it again in Bigfoot. And when I say done it again, what I mean is nobody drives out the back end of a racetrack like Andy Brass. He's done it so many times. You better have Brass beaten soundly when you get to the last set of cars, because nobody will hammer his truck harder to try and pull out a come-from-behind victory than Andy Brass, and he's done it again. He was behind, but he refuses to lose. Did not even set the front wheels on the ground. Andy Brass and Bigfoot has pulled it out, winning over Rob Morris and Four-Wheel Crazy in a sensational championship matchup here in the Houston Astrodome. Just another exciting conclusion to action here on Super Trax. Till next week, I'm Scott Douglas, and we'll see you on Super Trax.